Joseph Stalin, a name that echoes through history, evokes a chilling blend of awe and revulsion. He was the architect of a totalitarian regime that industrialized a backward nation at a breathtaking pace. Yet, this same man orchestrated a reign of terror that claimed millions of lives. His legacy remains a tapestry of contradictions, a perplexing puzzle for historians and a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power. Was Stalin a product of his time or a tyrant driven by ruthless ambition? Stalin's life was a dramatic narrative of ambition, betrayal, and absolute power. Born into poverty in the small Georgian town of Gori, he rose through the ranks of the Bolshevik Party to become the undisputed ruler of the Soviet Union. His transformation from a seminary student to a revolutionary to a dictator is a story of cunning, ruthlessness, and a relentless pursuit of power. He was a master manipulator, adept at exploiting the weaknesses of his rivals and consolidating his control over the party apparatus. The sheer scale of Stalin's impact on the 20th century is difficult to comprehend. He transformed the Soviet Union from an agrarian society into an industrial powerhouse, capable of withstanding the onslaught of Nazi Germany. He played a pivotal role in the Allied victory in World War II, yet his paranoia and brutality led to the deaths of countless innocent people. His legacy is a complex and contested one, a source of both fascination and horror. How can we reconcile the man who led the Soviet Union to victory against fascism with the man who orchestrated the Great Purge, a campaign of terror that decimated the ranks of his own party? This is the central question that continues to haunt historians and shape our understanding of one of the most controversial figures in modern history. Stalin's story is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the seductive nature of power and the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition. It is a story that demands our attention, even as it chills us to the bone. If you want to learn more about history's greatest villains and heroes, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated. From seminary student to Soviet dictator. Iosif Vissarionovich Djugashvili, later known as Joseph Stalin, began his life far removed from the halls of power. Born in Gori, Georgia in 1878, his early years were marked by poverty and a tumultuous family life. His father, a cobbler, was an alcoholic and abusive, while his mother, a devout Orthodox Christian, instilled in him a strong sense of religious devotion. This early exposure to both piety and violence would shape Stalin's complex and contradictory personality. Stalin's path to revolution began in the Tiflis Spiritual Seminary, where he was enrolled as a scholarship student. However, instead of embracing the priesthood, he became increasingly drawn to the socialist and Marxist ideas that were fermenting among the intellectual circles of the time. He joined the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party, where he quickly distinguished himself for his organizational skills and unwavering commitment to the cause. After the Bolshevik seizure of power in 1917, Stalin gradually consolidated his position within the party. He skillfully navigated the complex political landscape, forging alliances and eliminating rivals. Following Lenin's death in 1924, Stalin outmaneuvered his opponents, including Trotsky and Bukharin, to become the undisputed leader of the Soviet Union. His rise to power was a testament to his political acumen and ruthless pragmatism. Stalin's transformation from a seminary student to a revolutionary to a dictator was a remarkable journey. He embraced the revolutionary fervor of the times, using his intellect and cunning to rise through the ranks of the Bolshevik Party. His early life experiences, marked by both religious devotion and familial violence, may have contributed to the complex and contradictory nature of his personality. His rise to power was a story of ambition, betrayal, and a relentless pursuit of control. A reign of fear and paranoia. The Great Purge, also known as the Great Terror, was a period of intense political repression in the Soviet Union under Stalin's rule. From 1936 to 1938, millions of people were arrested, tortured, executed, or sent to labor camps. The purge targeted not only perceived enemies of the state, but also members of the Communist Party, intellectuals, artists, and ordinary citizens. It was a period of paranoia and fear where no one was safe from the reach of Stalin's secret police. The Great Purge was fueled by Stalin's paranoia and his desire to consolidate his absolute power. He saw enemies everywhere, both real and imagined, and used the purge to eliminate any potential threats to his rule. The NKVD, the Soviet secret police, played a central role in carrying out the purges, using torture and intimidation to extract confessions and fabricate evidence. Show trials were staged, where prominent figures were forced to confess to crimes they did not commit. The human cost of the Great Purge was immense. Millions of lives were destroyed, families were torn apart, and a climate of fear and suspicion permeated Soviet society. The purge decimated the ranks of the Communist Party, the intelligentsia, and the military, leaving a void that would have long-lasting consequences. It was a period of unprecedented brutality, a dark chapter in Soviet history. The Great Purge was a manifestation of Stalin's totalitarian regime, a system where the state controlled every aspect of life. It was a period of unparalleled repression, where individual rights were trampled upon and dissent was ruthlessly suppressed. The purge left an indelible scar on Soviet society, a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and paranoia. Stalin's paradoxical role in World War II. World War II presented a stark paradox for Joseph Stalin. Initially allied with Nazi Germany through the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, he found himself facing the full might of the Wehrmacht in June 1941. This sudden shift from uneasy alliance to desperate defense tested the Soviet Union and its leader in unprecedented ways. Stalin's leadership during the war was a complex mix of brutality, strategic brilliance, and unwavering determination. Forced into an alliance with the Western Allies, Stalin became a key figure in the fight against fascism. He oversaw the massive mobilization of the Soviet people and industry, transforming the country into a war machine capable of repelling the Nazi invasion. The Eastern Front became the bloodiest theatre of the war, with millions of Soviet soldiers and civilians perishing in the conflict. Despite the immense suffering inflicted upon his own people, Stalin emerged from the war as one of the victors. The Soviet Union's contribution to the Allied victory was undeniable, and Stalin's prestige on the world stage soared. However, the war also revealed the ruthlessness of his regime, as evidenced by the Katyn Forest massacre and the treatment of Soviet prisoners of war. The war years solidified Stalin's control over the Soviet Union and its satellite states. He established the Iron Curtain, dividing Europe into East and West and ushering in the Cold War. His wartime leadership, while undeniably effective in defeating Nazi Germany, further cemented his totalitarian grip on power and set the stage for decades of geopolitical tension. Following the Allied victory in World War II, Europe found itself divided by an ideological and physical barrier, the Iron Curtain. This term, popularized by Winston Churchill, described the line separating Soviet-controlled Eastern Europe from the West. Stalin's influence extended across a swathe of nations, creating a buffer zone against potential future threats. This division marked the beginning of the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between the Soviet Union and the United States. The establishment of the Iron Curtain had profound consequences for the people living in Eastern Europe. Communist regimes, often installed and supported by the Soviet Union, took control, suppressing dissent and limiting individual freedoms. The Soviet model of centralized planning and state control was imposed on these nations, transforming their economies and societies. This led to widespread resentment and resistance as many yearned for democratic freedoms. The Iron Curtain not only divided nations but also families and communities. Travel between East and West became severely restricted, and communication was closely monitored. This separation created a sense of isolation and mistrust between the two sides, fueling the Cold War narrative of ideological opposition. The division of Germany, symbolized by the Berlin Wall, became a potent symbol of this fractured world. The Iron Curtain was a physical manifestation of Stalin's paranoia and his desire to control the destiny of Eastern Europe. It solidified the division of the continent and set the stage for decades of Cold War tensions. The legacy of this division continues to shape European politics and identity even today. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 marked the end of the Cold War and the beginning of a new era, but the scars of the division remain. If you want to learn more about history's greatest villains and heroes, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated.